Hey, 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 happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So tonight is Monday, November 8th, 2021. This is live stream 713. Yeah. This is your first time joining me. Let me point out, this is very, very casual. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming and taking a first look at a tabletop game. Now, tonight, I've got a treat in store for you. I'm looking around because I'm like, wait a second, where did I put it? We're going to be taking a first look at the RuneQuest Starter Set from Chaosium Inc. I know a lot of people are very, very interested to find out what is in this box. I think there's a couple of videos out there already because you could pick this up if you were at Gen Con, but it sold out like in the first or second day. So I didn't even get a chance to grab a review copy then myself. So we're going to be taking a peek. I am looking forward to it because from what I saw at Gen Con, and I did not get to see a ton, and I kind of saw it from a distance, looks pretty sweet. I think we are going to be in store for some pretty cool stuff. So I do also want to point out that we talk about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So if you're a first-time viewer, keep in mind we do the news first, and then we move on into our first look. It's usually about a half hour or so. Now, if you're watching after the fact, after this stream ends, it's no problem. All you got to do, if you want to skip past news, is click on the little time codes, timestamps, pop to wherever you want. But if you're watching live, you got a couple of options. You can kick back, relax, enjoy yourself, or maybe come back in about 30 minutes, and that'll be what I'll be jumping on in. Of course, also want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you have not yet. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. Also let you know when I upload other standalone videos, such as my upcoming review of the new edition of Galaxy Trucker from Czech Games Edition. So that is on the horizon. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means chat is available. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. And so far, we had the Madman was popping in first in chat. Flaming Heron's with us as well. So both of our chat moderators are here right at the start. This about 92 is here. Sarah D is hanging with us. Very cool. And I think that is it so far. So, and of course, we might have Mr. Eddie T hanging out. He doesn't usually jump into chat, though. But if Sarah D's watching, usually we've got Mr. Eddie T as well. So we're going to jump, excuse me, we're going to jump on into the news pretty quickly tonight. And then I've got something after the news I'm going to mention. Kind of cool. I kind of touched on it last week, but I'm going to kind of discuss it in a little more detail. And then we will jump on into the RuneQuest Starter Set. So, first off, arriving in December from Weird City Games is Canopy. And this is what I know about the game. Canopy is a game in which two players compete to grow the most bountiful rainforest. The jungle ecosystem is full of symbiosis and mutualism, and the players must grow tall trees and lush jungle plants to attract the most diverse wildlife. By carefully selecting what grows in your forest, you can create the ideal balance of flora and fauna and develop a thriving rainforest. In the game, players take turns selecting new cards for their forest from 3 growth piles. Each time you look at a pile, you may select it and add those cards to your rainforest tableau, or return the pile face down, adding 1 additional card to it. As the piles grow, you must search for the plants and animals that will benefit your forest the most. But choose carefully, as the jungle also contains dangers in the form of fire, disease, and drought. Fast and fun gameplay mixes drafting, push your luck, and set collecting. Canopy features 25 unique species of rainforest animals and plants. There's even solo and 3 or 4 player variants, which are included in the base game. Canopy is for 2 players, so I'm kind of thinking maybe it's 3 and 4 player variants if you have 2 copies of the game. It's for ages 3 and up, plays in around 30 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $29.95 when it arrives early next month. Gotta say, I really like the artwork to this game. This could be kind of interesting, a nice tableau building game with some pretty phenomenal looking artwork. Pretty sweet. I like that. And it's right on the horizon. I think it's supposed to, according to distributors. Now, that doesn't mean they're correct. But according to distributors, I believe this is supposed to arrive, I think, the second week of December. So pick it up, give it as a gift too. I don't know, just something about this game looks very cool. It's very cool. Doug Roberts is with us. Good to see you, Doug. Thanks for swinging on by and joining us again. I know we haven't seen Doug in a bit. I think, if I remember right, I think Doug was under the weather a little. So hopefully you're doing a lot better. Then again, I could be misremembering, which is not unusual at all. I don't know. I don't know. Next up, Modiphius Entertainment has launched a crowdfunding project on GameFound. Here's the latest on The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the adventure game. Build a unique character in the world of the Elder Scrolls. Choose between a Nord, Dunmer, Imperial, Altmer, Kjajit, or Orsimer. I don't know. I played it once. I don't remember how to pronounce all this stuff. Equip your characters with a wide range of weapons, spells, and armor. Travel across the holds of Skyrim to places like Riften, Solitude, Falkreath, and Whiterun. Attempt a huge range of evolving quests that change the game with every decision. Explore the wilderness. Gain side quests from mysterious characters. Delve into ancient ruins and tombs. Battle Draugr, frostbite spiders, dragons, Dwarmer constructs, and Daedra. The deeper you delve, the deadlier your foes will become. Gain experience and amazing treasures. Upgrade and enchant your gear. Level up your character with a wide range of unique skills and abilities. Play through 6 chapters of 2 huge campaigns, spanning 25 years in the history of Skyrim in this endlessly replayable adventure board game. There is it's about a 2-minute crowdfunding video from Modiphius. So let's kick back and give it a peek. Then again, maybe I should make sure that I've got the right video in there. I knew I'd forgotten something. I knew I'd forgotten something today. I'm down here and I'm like, oh, I've got like 10 minutes before the show starts. I'm way ahead of schedule here. It's all good. Hey.
Before the Dragonborn came to Skyrim. You are surviving members of the Blades, a legendary group who long protected the Empire of Tamriel. Abandoned by the Empire, you must work together to thwart a plot which threatens the whole of Skyrim. Build a unique character in the world of the Elder Scrolls. Choose between Enor, Dunmer, Imperial, Altmer, Khajiit, or Orsimer. Equip your character with a wide range of weapons, spells, and armor. Travel across the halls of Skyrim to places like Riften, Solitude, Falkreath, and Whiterun. Attempt a huge range of evolving quests that change the game with each decision. Explore the wilderness. Gain side quests from mysterious characters. Explore ancient ruins and tombs. Battle Draugr, frostbite spiders, and Daedra. As you delve deeper, your foes become increasingly deadly. Gain experience and amazing treasures. Upgrade and enchant your gear. Level up your character with a wide range of unique skills and abilities. Play through 6 chapters of 2 huge campaigns in this endlessly replayable adventure game. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. The adventure game. On GameFound now.
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the adventure game, is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in around 90 to 120 minutes per scenario. The project funded in its first 30 minutes. Last I looked, which was yesterday, it was very close to hitting $1 million in funding. And you can reserve a copy of the base game for a pledge of approximately $91 through December 4th. There are a ton of different tiers and add-ons and things like that as well. Expected delivery is August of next year. I got to say, it looks kind of interesting. I decided I was going to share the Kickstarter info because I get along well with Modiphius, Chris, and the team. I don't know. I'm not sold on this though. Not enough info about how to play the game. Now I do see that Doug has pointed out that they have played the computer version of this, or I guess tabletop simulator version. So and says it's good. It seems good. So there is that. But I got to be honest, taking a look at the GameFound project, there's just so much add-on stuff. You're looking at, if you wanted to get everything, it's like $400. Granted, a lot of miniatures, don't get me wrong. And of course, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of backing this. It's just, I don't know really much about it. So I don't know. So Andrew Milicevic, nowhere near on that pronunciation, I'm sure, is with us. Good to see you, Andrew. Thanks for stopping on in. Kevin R. Smith has joined us as well. So we got the, chats off and running already tonight. Let's move on to a little bit of wargaming news. Did I miss John Vogel? Did John Vogel pop in? I could have swore I saw John Vogel's name pop up, but it's gone. So John's here. Good to see you, John. If you're not here, I'm losing my mind. It was because I couldn't find that damn video. I'm like, where is it? Where the hell is it? Is it under Skyrim? Is it under Elder Scrolls? Where the hell is it? It was under the Elder Scrolls. I'm like, yeah, for crying. There we go. John's here. I was going to say, I didn't think I'm cracking up that much yet. All right. So John's going to enjoy a little bit of war game news because up for pre-order over on GMT Games P500 listing is Bear Trap, the Soviet-Afghan War, 1979 to 1989. Here's the deets. Bear Trap is a quick-playing, low-complexity, two-player block war game covering the Soviet-Afghan War. In the Soviet-Afghan War, insurgent groups, including the Mujahideen, brought a guerrilla war against the Soviet 40th Army and the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan government. The game begins shortly after Operation Storm 333 was executed at the end of 1979. In this coup, Hafizullah Amin, General Secretary of the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, was killed, and Babur Karmal, a Soviet loyalist, replaced him. By putting the Brezhnev Doctrine into practice, the Soviets sought to prop up the sympathetic local government and solve the Russian ice lock problem, while the insurgents sought to expel the secularist government and foreign invaders. Although the two sides in this conflict were fundamentally different in a variety of ways, they also faced some parallel challenges. For example, they struggled to maintain loyalty. For the Soviets and the DRA armed forces merely offered an opportunity for a paycheck. There were cases where conscripts in the Soviet army defected to the Mujahideen. I never can pronounce that right. Mujahideen. It's not it either. For the insurgents, propaganda threats and promises to family drew would-be combatants away, as did injuries suffered from landmines and attacks on villages. Both sides also struggled to puncture the fog of war, not being able to secure reliable intel about force deployment and strength, and both faced various challenges about supply, communication, and coordination. Both sides needed to react to shifting strategies and developments over this decade-long Cold War proxy war, where the landscape upon which it was fought presented many unique challenges. Bear Trap is a spiritual successor to Sekigahara, building on the same core system. In both games, each player has their own deck of cards. Players spend cards from their hand to activate areas or in combat to commit units to battle. This means fans of Sekigahara will find learning Bear Trap easy, but the feel and experience of the games are highly divergent. Bear Trap is not a clone of Sekigahara. They are very different games with differences in topic, feel, and mechanism, despite having an underlying shared game system. Bear Trap is also a more asymmetric game than Sekigahara. Although Bear Trap is a slight step up in complexity, the mechanics remain simple, and Bear Trap can be completed in 2 to 3 hours. Bear Trap, the Soviet-Afghan War, 1979 to 1989, is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, and plays, once again, in 2 to 3 hours. You can score the pre-order price right now of $59. This will, if it does meet the number of pre-orders needed, it will carry an MSRP of $89. You can save yourself 30 bones. You can always save a good amount of money with the P500 pricing as opposed to just waiting for it to go to retail. I got to say, this has kind of piqued my interest. I wish there were more images for me to share with you of the game, there aren't. Because for one, I think it's only at, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's about 280 orders right now. So they haven't produced a lot of, like counter sheets. Well, I should say sticker sheets since it's a block game. But I thought I'd actually toss in a couple of images just so we had 5. But I am a fan of Sekigahara. I reviewed it way back in the day when it came out. It's got to be about 9 years ago, I think. I'm pretty sure I was in Arizona when that came out. And I enjoyed it. I like it a lot. Of course, that's like a like, well, is it? Yeah, I guess it is kind of Middle Ages Japanese history for Sekigahara, or maybe it's like 15th century, if I remember right, 15th, 16th. So I guess that's not really Middle Ages, but so this is a quite different topic, but sounds very, very interesting. So Jason Bradley's joined us. 245 Trioxin is with us as well. 245 says, wow, big crowd tonight. Omanal has joined us as well. Good to see Omanal popping in. I would say that we will probably have some new folks popping in because I want to check out the RuneQuest Starter Set. We are probably at most 10 minutes away from jumping into the unboxing. Omanal points out it would have been cool if the map actually showed the terrain of Afghanistan as opposed to being kind of featureless. Sort of agree with you on that. All right, let's talk a little bit of role-playing game news because there is a new OSR-style fantasy role-playing game that has arrived from Workhorse RPG Studio. Here's the dope on Advanced Old Swords Reign. Welcome to Advanced Old Swords Reign, a tabletop role-playing game with modern mechanics taken from the 5e SRD and based on the original 1974 edition and later advanced editions of the world's oldest role-playing game. What could that be? Wondering. Chess? Is it chess, right? Isn't that it? That. And some of those editions supplements. This is not a retro clone, but more of an homage to the old school style of play that is more readily accessible to modern gamers. Rules and Magic is filled with over 300 spells, 12 classes, 7 races, feats, backgrounds, rules for combat, and more. Paired with the Advanced Old Swords Reign Monsters and Treasures book, you have a complete game, filled with enough information to run years of adventures. The 270-page premium color hardcover is available at Drive-Thru RPG for $51.43, or you can grab the PDF for $7.99. Monsters and Treasures is filled with over 200 monsters and NPCs, hundreds of magical items, rules for Old Swords Reign referees, and more. The 234-page premium full-color hardcover can be had for $46.21, or you can snag the PDF for $7.99. I had to say, the cover art for these books is pretty impressive. And if I remember correctly, I believe Workhorse RPG Studio has kind of a retro clone of, I'm not sure if it's BX or if it's OD&D, called Old Swords Reign. So, and I'm not sure if that has like modern mechanics or not, but this is pretty new. This is just now available in print from Drive-Thru RPG as well. Finally, there's a new adventure that's arrived from my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. It's out in PDF for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Here's a skinny on Ubers-like adventures. No strings attached. Every day I stay alive, you get 1 gold crown. No strings attached. Ernst Bluka, Cobbler. The last surviving member of Ubersreich's Cobblers Guild has a simple request. Figure out who is doing away with the town's cobblers and put an end to them before they put an end to Ernst Blucher. 3 lie dead already, and it is only a matter of time before whoever is responsible finishes what they started. Is it the work of a jealous rival, a simple coincidence, or an attempted takeover by Deersdorf's notoriously militant Cobblers Guild? Or maybe he just hates these cans. Oddball reference out of the blue. The players have much to untangle while they wait for the other shoe to drop. Ah, get it? They're cobblers. Oh, my side is splitting. No Strings Attached takes place in the town of Ubersreich, the setting for the Wifrup Starter Set and Ubersreich Adventures 1 and 2. Characters will flex their investigative muscle, then uncover the secrets of the murders before their patron falls foul of the same villain. No Strings Attached is suitable for 1 or 2 sessions of play and works equally well as part of an ongoing campaign or as a standalone adventure. The 18-page PDF is available at Drive-Thru RPG for $3.99. Jason asks, any relation to Frau Blucher? Right. As Flaming Heron says, nay. So Umanal was pointing out that they dug the artwork from the Advanced Old Sword Rain. Yeah, like I said, that artwork looks pretty phenomenal. All right, that is it for tonight's news. I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Keep in mind that the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep the Gaming Gang website around. And I know there are a lot of people out there who do use those affiliate links through the banners. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that a lot. Also, if you like what I do, if you like this video or any of the videos, the channel, the website, my song and dance. Oh, wait, I haven't released my song and dance yet. Strike that. The rest of this stuff. You can always buy me a cup of coffee or soda by going to paypal.me/thegaminggang. And once again, we have folks who do that as well. So thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. Christopher Rush has joined us just in time for RuneQuest. No, we did that earlier. We're done. We're wrapping up. We're finished. Sorry, Chris. No, we're almost there. Something I did want to mention before we jump into the first look is that I have started reaching out to some companies because I am going to feature it's not only the OSR, because there are some things that fit into OSR that I'm really not interested in covering. And there are other games that have old school themes and kind of a feel to them that really they don't, even the companies themselves don't consider their games to be OSR. But I'm going to cover a bunch of stuff, kind of an old school sort of vibe, all through the month of January. So it is going to be old school for the new year. And I've started reaching out to companies. And the first company I reached out to was Troll Lord Games, who makes Castles and Crusades. So do want to point out that if you would like me to contact any particular company, let me know in the comments section. Because in chat, it's very difficult for me to have to go back through chat to find, people piping in and that. Keep in mind, there are some OSR games that I have already reviewed, so it'd be kind of silly for me to cover them again. So I have done Basic Fantasy. I have done it's what White Box Fantastic Medieval Adventures or something like that. It is not, it's not White Box, which is a completely different game. It's like White Hack is different. So I've done that. Let's see, Lamentations of the Flame Princess, Swords and Wizardry. So I've already tackled those. Omenal points out the OSE, the Old School Essentials Kickstarter, is not going to be until February. I know. Because they were talking, I was expecting it to be this month, or at worst, next month. But yes, I did notice, that's very recent. I think it was the last day or two that it was announced from Necrotic Gnome that they won't be rolling that out. And the thing that, I don't know if, I got to be honest, I have no idea if they're going to reprint the Advanced Fantasy Rules tomes, because there's a player tome and a referee's tome, because I want to get those, because I did just order the Old School Essentials Classic Rules tome. And that, it has not shipped yet, but there's a new printing that's available. I'm curious if they're going to wait for the Kickstarter in order to have the 2 volumes, or if the Kickstarter is just going to be the boxed sets, which I kind of had the impression they were the box sets, because on the Necrotic Gnome website, it says that there's a new print run coming for Advanced Fantasy. I don't know. Just don't know. Because I would like to pick up those books, but I would like to pay close to the MSRP of, I think they're 40 each, as opposed to 150 or 175 for both. So Jason says they're running Forbidden Lands and their players are scared for their lives every combat. I reviewed Forbidden Lands. It was one of the first Free League Publishing games that I reviewed, and definitely dig that old school vibe to that as well. So as an example, that would be the kind of game that I will be taking a look at, hopefully, in January. It's not an OSR game, but it does have an old school feel to it. So it can be OSR, or it can have an old school feel. I'm not going to be like, because the thing is, nobody knows how to define the old school Renaissance anyway. Or as some people say, old school revival. See, they can't even tell you what the O, the S, and the R stand for. Well, the O and the S they can, but not the R. Okay, so I did want to mention that. So if you are interested, comment in the comment section about a company I can reach out to as obscure as they may be. The only thing is they have to actually have physical copies of the games. So as an example, I would reach out to try to do a review copy, or to do a review of the 2nd edition of the Black Hack, but it's sold out. It's out of print. So it'd be silly to reach out when they don't have it. All right. That said, tonight we are going to be taking a first look at the RuneQuest Starter Set from Chaosium Inc. It's written by Greg Stafford, Jeff Richard, and Jason Durrell. Should say the late, great Greg Stafford. This is going to carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives in stores on Wednesday. I do not have a PDF price as of right now because the PDF is not out. PDF is not available. I have a feeling it's not going to drop until November 10th as well. But if you purchase the physical set, you will get a copy of the PDF if you make your purchase through Chaosium. Otherwise, you can get it, I'm sure, starting on the 10th over at Drive-Thru RPG. I'm going to take a guess. $14.99, thereabout. So Jason says they'd like to suggest Crypts and Things. Another game I have heard of, not familiar with. So there are a lot of role-playing games out there. And once we're done with the RuneQuest Starter Set, if we have a little bit of time, I want to share a little bit of my thought process about what might start going on with the gaming gang. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's swing on over to the other camera because here we've got, ta-da, the RuneQuest Starter Set. So this is in one of those 1-inch boxes, those classic 1-inch boxes from Chaosium. And I'm going to tell you right now, when we open this up, we're going to find absolutely no air in this box. I'm lifting this box up and I can feel that this box is full. Nothing's jingling around or anything like that inside. Plus, if you caught my interview with Jeff Richard at Gen Con, we talked a bit about this, and I actually got a shot of what's in here. And there's like 4 books, dice, Pregens, loads and loads of stuff. Sly Blue Demon has joined us. I believe this is the first time visit for Sly Blue. Thank you very much for popping on in. So Kevin says they second D101 Games, who I believe makes Crips and things. And if they actually have print products, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. All right, we're going to focus on this. Like I said, please, if you're interested in me contacting a publisher out there who has something that's OSR-ish, that's what I'm going to call it, OSR-ish, please let me know in the comments. A world of fantastic myth and heroic adventure in a box. RuneQuest is a fantasy role-playing game set in the world of Glorantha, played by 2 or more players and a single game master. Players in RuneQuest are adventurers, heroes who must face the challenges laid before them by the game master, who describes the world and its incredible inhabitants. Adventures are defined, adventurers. I gotta say, this font is tiny. It's like, geez, I'm actually surprised I can read it from here. Adventures are defined by their skills, passions, equipment, and magical abilities, such as spells and mastery of the powerful runes. They improve by successfully using the skills and abilities they attempt in play. Combat is dangerous and unpredictable. Even the mightiest can fall in battle, victim to a well-aimed blow, just as the most inexperienced peasant might bring down a giant or even a dragon. If they're lucky enough. Such is life in the world of Glorantha. Beset by war, the heroes of Glorantha ready themselves for the greatest challenge, the loosening threat of war. Oh, I should say looming. Like I said, I'm like sitting there like, it's like, my God, you can actually tell on the screen how small this print is. All right, we'll skip ahead. The RuneQuest Starter Set allows players to easily immerse themselves into Glorantha and its system with ready-to-use characters and ready-to-play adventures, allowing for many hours of play. There's no better way to learn about the game and world than this starter set. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I don't think it's a very long limb. I think we're going to be really, really impressed by what we find inside here. I personally feel that the Call of Cthulhu starter set is one of the best starter sets out there. I got to admit that we have had a lot of luck in the past few years. Say past 3. Had a lot of luck in the past 3 years with starter sets. Really, really good starter sets. There have been some stinkers out there, I'll be the first to admit, but they've been pretty solid. And gotta say, Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu is one of the best. Let's open this on up. Okay. So we get a read me first. No, read me. No, read me. Okay, so it's going to tell us what's in the box. What's not in the box? Ooh. Hey, we're actually finding out what's not in the box. No rules for adventure character generation or equipment beyond those used in the ready-to-play adventures. There are no advanced combat options, such as phalanx fighting, chariots, etc. There's no rune masters. Sorcery and advanced spirit world information is not in this set. And Sacred Time and other campaign-oriented events. They're all addressed in RuneQuest, Role-Playing in Glorantha, which I have reviewed, which is excellent. I reviewed the two-volume set that came out. Really, really well done. So, want more RuneQuest and Glorantha? We have more, that's right. But wait, there's more. Boris has joined us. Good to see you, Boris. So we've got a set of dice. I like that they're gold dice. Bum that we only get the 1 6-sider. Not unusual. I know. Actually, I think the back of the box only says it includes percentile dice, which we can see here. This is a full set of polyhedral dice. And that's what threw me off when I took a peek at the back of the box, which is all I did. You saw me take the shrink off, so you know this is a legit unboxing. But I was taking a glance at it, and it said polyhedral dice, and I thought, well, wait a second. You need other dice for RuneQuest. It's not just percentiles or 10-siders. So someone else says, still D6 from Monopoly. Well, if you've got Monopoly nearby, I feel sorry for you. So hopefully you got D6s from other games, not Monopoly. I think you only get one. Don't you only get one D6 in a Monopoly game? All right, so Pinky has come downstairs. See, I stopped so you can maybe hear her. And then it's like she stops. It's like, thanks. Thanks, Pinky. Goofball. All right, so we got the dice. Very cool. Very nice. I'll zoom in on the dice when we're wrapping up. But I love how it actually kind of blends in with this book. All right, so we got book 1, rules. So I do see that these are saddle stitched. For some strange reason, I thought that these were perfect bound. I'm not shocked that they're not, but for some strange reason, when I saw it from a distance, I thought they were perfect bound. But the Call of Cthulhu starter set is also saddle stitch. All right, a couple of things I'm going to point out. Obviously enough, the fine folks over at Chaosium Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. So, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share any thoughts or this video with you. So it's important that you know that. Also, I'm not going to look at every page. We're going to kind of jump through. We're going to skip through because we're just here to get a feel for what these books contain, not so you can read the entire book in this video. Boris says, still the dice at the casino. A lot of casinos just, they give you dice. Just not at the blackjack, not at the craps table. Why would they have dice at a blackjack table? Jeez. And I play blackjack. I'm like, why am I saying blackjack? All right, so we get the rules. Get an example of play here. I have to say, the latest edition of RuneQuest is just beautifully done. If you're not familiar with the setting, it is a Bronze Age fantasy role-playing game. And there are not many of these out there that are set in that kind of Bronze Age sort of technological level. And just the research and just the backstory and the history that Greg Stafford put into Glorantha is just incredibly amazing. It really, really is. Combat is very, very lethal. Got to be honest. It's even mentioned on the back of the box when we were reading that minuscule type that you can be taken down with a lucky shot like that. I have to say, when I first picked up RuneQuest, which was probably in about 1980, because I actually had the maybe it was second edition, because I thought first edition was a book, but I picked up the box set, and I remember I was like, wow, this is so different. I'm like, this is so different than D&D, or I think we had Boot Hill by that point. I don't mean that it was out. I mean that I owned it. I used to get all the TSR stuff. Didn't run the TSR stuff. I read Call of Cthulhu. As soon as I picked that up, it was like, man, that's it. It's Call of Cthulhu, folks. It's been that way for 40 years. But I remember picking it up and I was like, wow, this combat is so cool. Oh, there's hit locations and and you have individual armor for the locations. And I was like, wow, just you can easily one-shot somebody. Not that we used that term back then, but it's like, huh. So I was really, really impressed by it. Once again, didn't run it though. I did not run it. We were still playing some D&D back at that point in time, but it was very close to me leaving Dungeons and Dragons behind when I had picked up RuneQuest for the first time. So Kevin says Greg Stafford was developing Glorantha before RuneQuest. Right. He was going to write a series of novels, if I remember correctly. Says that Chaosium had a board game set in Glorantha right at the time that D&D was coming out. Yes. I can't recall. It's something bear. I want to sit there and say it's Clan of the Cave Bear, but no, it's not Clan of the Cave Bear. So here we have the world of Glorantha. Pretty impressive artwork on the covers here as well. Let's see. So Doug says they're not allowed to get games anymore. They have 6 on order. 2 are from GMT that are on the delivery truck. 1 won't ship until spring of next year. And the other 3 are supposed to ship in November and December. I get you. I get you where you're coming from. Cesar Perez has joined us. Good to see you, Cesar. Thanks for swinging on in tonight. So here we've got a discussion of the setting. So the first book, just kind of giving you a taste of the rules. Here we get the setting. The Age of Bronze. Then rune magic. We get different elder races. The map of Northern Sartar. Myth and history. Here's something I also should point out. And I think one of the reasons why some folks are almost scared by RuneQuest is that they hear about just this super detailed history and backstory of the setting. And I think there are people out there who are like, I don't want to have to memorize all this backstory and all the history and all these different clans and these different areas. And don't worry about it. It's like I talk to people who are like, oh, well, 5th edition. I like 5th edition because I don't have to worry about like all those Forgotten Realms releases or all those Greyhawk releases and need to know everything about it. It's like, since when did you need to know everything about it? Make it up on the fly. But what I'm saying is that this is a fantastic setting and system with a lot of history, a lot of meat on its bones. But once again, nobody from Chaosium is going to come over to your house if you're not sitting there running the world of Glorantha as it's in the books. I laugh about that. Oh, I like that artwork. Very nicely done. I always laugh about that because so many people are so uptight. Game masters are so uptight about, oh well, I got to make sure that I run, Faerun right. It's like, no, you don't. It's your game. It's your world. Do what you want. All right. So we are looking at, we got about 60 pages here, I think. It's like we've got some areas. The people of Johnstown. And outside Johnstown, I think Johnstown is probably going to be where our adventures are set. I do know that a lot of the third-party products that come out kind of focus on that area as well. So Omanal says, sometimes the history and background make it enjoyable to read. The players do not need to know the exactness of the history. I get it. I'm right with you. We talk about this all the time, just like I discuss how your read alouds should not be 5 paragraphs long, right? It's like everybody's tuning out, right? They're all tuning out on your game as you're like reading your novella to them. Same thing with the history of stuff. Most people will just sit there and be like, I don't know. I thought we were playing a role-playing game tonight, man. What's going on? Is there going to be a test on this later? That's what, if you're a game master out there, that's what you should do. Next time you're running a game, tell them that you're going to really get into the history of the game world, and that there's going to be a test at the end of the session. Omanal says, as a game master, they hated players quoting the fiction books for a setting, but didn't want to run it. Yeah, I know, I get it. See, thankfully, the players I've got to run stuff for most of my gaming life are not like, they're not power gamers. They're not rules lawyers. Got to say, I was a rules lawyer back in the day. Thankfully, it's been a long time since then. But yeah, thankfully, I don't have players showing up at my game table with all the game books, more game books than I own, right? There's Mr. Eddie T. Good to see you, Eddie. I know you're probably hanging around. Kevin says they call it Forgotten Realms syndrome. There's always a setting canon lawyer who's read all the fiction. I think that goes doubly for Dragonlance. I think as a game master, or I guess we would say dungeon master, since it's D&D, I don't think I would want to have been sitting there running Dragonlance after all the books had come out and, not being well versed in it. So here it looks like we've got a solitaire adventure. The Battle of Dangerford. That is what it is. It is a solitaire adventure. It's going to take up most of this book. So I'm going to jump a bunch of pages in. So it's got a bit of a kind of choose your own adventure vibe to it. But you're going to be, of course, rolling for encounters and, combat and things like that. It's not like, oh, make a choice, A or B. So Omanal says that rules lawyers bothered them less than the setting Gestapo, because I did not read all the books. Dragonlance in particular was there. Yeah, see, that's what I kind of got the feeling too. But we didn't play Dragonlance. We were already out of D&D by then. Didn't have anything against it. It was just we got into Call of Cthulhu. And I'm the forever game master, so very rarely would somebody else run a game. But my friend Scott, who we have had pop in and join us in chat from time to time, he ran some stuff. My best friend Elliot Miller, who I talk about all the time, every show practically, because we have such a gaming history together. And he ran some stuff, but I would say like 80% of the time, 85%, it would be me running stuff. So Boris says they were a rules district attorney. Look at that. Caesar says sold. I want that starter set now. November 10th. November 10th. And the weird thing is, maybe I'm cracking up, but there's actually not an order page on Chaosium's website to order this. At least not until, I believe, the 10th. That's super bizarre. Okay, let's just jump a few more pages here. There you go. It's Voster, son of Pregens. Oh no, not him. But as you can see, Bronze Age, helmets, weapons. Ah, there's the Battle of Dangerford. All right. So that is the third book. Just kind of curious. So there's 57 pages in that. There is 61 pages. So that is 118. Another 61. So that is 179. And good thing I can do kind of math in my head. All right, that's I don't know, that's I don't know, around 150 pages or something. I don't know, maybe. I just use that new math. Yeah, the answer's kind of like around this, I guess. I don't know. Don't get me started on that new math. Do not get me started. So Kevin says, hey, if I get the starter set, I can play the solo adventure and actually play RuneQuest for the first time. Jason says they had to quash a rules lawyer in their last D&D game. He went from never role-playing before the game to 5 weeks in owning all the core books and telling me how to run the game. Yeah, that would get somebody an invite to the exits. I'm lucky. When I first start role-playing with people who I have not run stuff for in the past, I kind of lay things out like, okay, this is how we do things here. It's like it's my way or the highway. And I don't mean that like I'm going to be a jerk, but it's like there's one person running this game and it's me. So this is the adventure book. So this is for game masters only. So we've got adventuring in Glorantha, getting the adventurers together, a rough landing. Oh, I believe I missed mentioning this. It popped up way back here. I probably missed it. Of course, I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. We did get the name of the board game that Chaosium released. And back then, and even today, you'll still see some references on the Chaosium website. They were known as the Chaosium, is what they were called. It was the Chaosium. It wasn't Chaosium. So Andy Sykes has joined us. Good to see you, Andy. Thanks for popping on in. Mayhem in the Market. So this is our first adventure, a rough landing. So real quick, we'll just take a peek at a stat block here. And we've got Dark Troll Mercenaries. So we got strength, constitution, size, which size is effectively utilized for hit points as well as your constitution. Dexterity, intelligence, power, which depends on what game system with basic role playing, which is essentially the percentile based role playing mechanics that RuneQuest actually created and that Call of Cthulhu and some other titles from Chaosium have been built on. But power tends to be kind of your how in tune with the universe you are. It's utilized for magic. And of course, we've got charisma. Then we've got our attacks. Then we got percentile chance. So we've got fist, grapple, heavy mace, large shield, maul, sling, and then spirit combat. Got the damage for that. If I remember correctly, I think SR is strike rank. So that has to do with your initiative. And then we have points here. I'm not sure what that represents. Then we got the hit locations. Then we have the armor points for each of those locations and the hit points for each of those locations. And as an example, let's say your right arm, it's 4 and 4. Well, if you took 10 points of damage to your right arm, you're probably not going to have the use of your right arm anymore. At least I should say the characters won't. So Kevin says, so every RuneQuest edition was like the mongoose version. So Kevin says their impression from reading it was hard to die, but easy to end up like the Black Knight and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I got to be honest, I am not familiar with the mongoose editions. And I know RuneQuest has bounced around a bit. It started with Chaosium, and it's back with Chaosium, but it made stops along the way at like Avalon Hill. So then we've got games like Hero Quest, and so just kind of taking a quick peek through the adventures. I'm going to take a guess. We get maybe 4. So this is the second one, A Fire in the Darkness. You're fighting arsonists. Anyway, I was going to say, continuing a little bit with the stat blocks, then you'll have just kind of more information about the characters. So you've got languages, treasure, skills, passions, magic as well. I'm going to try to jump across some of this because it's like a mystery adventure. Would want to like ruin the mystery. Kevin says it seems Call of Cthulhu is more popular than ever, and that's driving their customer base up for everything else. I gotta say, I think just role playing itself is far more popular now than it ever has been in the past. It's not unusual to see shows that aren't necessarily aimed at geek culture make reference to Dungeons and Dragons or popular board games and things like that. So I honestly, I agree. I think Call of Cthulhu is probably as popular now, or more popular now than probably any time in the past. And I think it's one of those, high tide lifts all ships, right? But it doesn't hurt that a vast majority of the Chaosium releases are excellent. And I got to say, obviously enough, I have not reviewed everything from Chaosium, but I have reviewed a good chunk of stuff that's out for Call of Cthulhu relatively recently. You find something that I dislike very, very rarely. There was one release I didn't necessarily think was all that great. But then again, it was mainly because of the representation in one of the adventures of Chicago. And it's like, no, that's not that. No, that's impossible. Architecturally, that's not, that ain't happened. So Caesar says they haven't bought anything for Call of Cthulhu. Starter set, perfect. It is It is excellent if you're into horror role playing or if you like the Cthulhu mythos. So we've got some further adventure seeds. We've got a Gloranthan calendar to wrap up. And this had 81 pages. How many adventures did we have? 3. So we had 3 adventures in the book here. So those are the 4 books. And this was 81 pages. So we've got, I forget what the total was. We had about 260 pages of content. Plus our set of dice. Now we got a bunch of other stuff in here we're going to start taking a peek at. Looks like we've got some maps. It's like, all right. I was like, what? Don't tell me we're going to have that, like the little, like Game Master screen that Cubicle 7 did with Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Starter Set. Because I saw one of these sitting there. It was a stack of these. I'm like, is that part of the box? Jason says, playing a game of Call of Cthulhu. We always called it Sea of Sea. I mention that all the time. We never called it COC. But Jason says, playing with players who are new to the setting can be awesome. Yeah, even players who aren't new to the setting. All right, so we got a bunch of pre-gens. So most games you'll usually run across in a starter set, like 4 pre-gens, maybe 6. I think there's like 14 in this. So to give you an idea, and this is, not to mention, another competitor, but this is very similar to how Cubicle 7 did their like pre-gen characters for Wifrip. It kind of had a little gatefold opened up. I like it a lot. I think that's very, very cool. So we get, this is the character from the Solo, I think. Yeah, Vasana. So we get the stats, we get the skills. There aren't as many skills in RuneQuest as there are in Call of Cthulhu or in basic role playing. So she's got a bison. So we get the stats for the bison, starting gear, magic, and then we get background about the character and how to play Vasana. We're a natural born leader with a charisma 19. Take charge. Okay. So let's see. Let's see if it was 14. So it's it looks as if, excuse me, each of the starting characters here have a companion. Because she's got an earth elemental. So she is Yenioth. Riding zebras. And that is Harmest. And if you notice, each one of these characters says who they're the child of. So that is a very clannish sort of thing. So like, give you an example. That like my last name is McAleer, and of course, being Irish, it's MC. It's not MAC. But way back, Mac meant son of. So like my last name's McAleer, that would have meant son of Aleer. So we got a cousin monkey for Vishy Dunn. Oh, but he has no family? So we have Voster with a fire elemental. We have Sorala. What does she have? look like a lizard. She doesn't have anything. Ah, so she doesn't have like a companion animal or creature. So we have Nathim, and Nathim has a shadow cat. A riding horse for Aranda. Like the artwork on these, you're also getting a very cool visual look at the style of fashions and things like that. So Omanal says, funny thing is they stay away from most starter sets and buy the core books instead, while it would be happier if they didn't do that. All depends. It all depends on the system you're looking at. So some game companies, if it's like, say, Call of Cthulhu, right? I think most people have an understanding. Call of Cthulhu is a pretty good game. So a starter set there really isn't a sort of risk if you wanted to get into Call of Cthulhu, because then you could see, hey, is this for me or not? I think where we have an issue where it's a little iffy is when it's a starter set and that's all you've got for a game is just their starter set. And it's sort of like, okay. And if they're not using the starter set for everything, right? Because most starter sets don't give you character generation rules. Of course, the Traveler starter set from Mongoose, that's just the entire game. So rather than having it in one book, it's broken into 2 books, but it is the entire game. It's also, I think, $70 for the starter set, whereas most starter sets for role-playing games run $20 to $30. So what is this? We've got loads of pre-generated characters. So you can pretty much get just about anything you'd like as far as the different types of characters. RuneQuest is also not a game. There's no real class to them. Of course, you have like archetypes and things like that, but you're not locked into only being able to do certain things. So let's see how many. That's 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 14. There really are 14 pregens. I did not misread it. Okay, then we've got a couple of blanks. That's pretty wild. Oh, it's got folded somehow. I think it would be a little, well, I guess you could scan it. Just, there's no way for you to kind of fold it up just like this would be. So Omanal says the old school in them remembers the original basic red set and blue set of D&D and Star Frontiers. My gosh, I remember all that stuff. Gangbusters, the box set for Gangbusters. Of course, I had the 1-inch box Call of Cthulhu when it first came out in 81. So we've got a couple of maps. So this is the cartography of Johnstown. This is Johnston, Johnstown, however you want to pronounce it. Very nice. Flip that on over. Here's the map of Northern Sartar. The Rainbow Mounds. I'm taking a guess this is probably in one of the adventures. This is probably a map from one of the adventures here. So Jason says it was Golden Heroes and Ghostbusters for their first 2 RPGs. That's pretty wild. Those of you who might be new to the Gaming Gang Dispatch should point out my first role-playing game was G1. Picked up G1. Thinking, oh, hey, this looks cool. This is a game. Uh-oh. Sorry, Jeff. It's just the module, man. You got to go get other stuff. But the funny thing is, I know my brother had played D&D before that. And I had played it once. My brother is 2.5 years older than I am. And interesting, he's not much of a gamer. He'll play some board games that I think that was probably the only time he played role-playing games. Was when he was in about, I think he was in 8th grade at that point. All right, so we get some information about runes. Get starter set references. So we still have the resistance table, which we have seen disappear from Call of Cthulhu, but it still remains in RuneQuest. So we've got attack and parry results, dodge results, the strike rank tracker. See, I thought it was, if I remember right, I thought it was strike rank, which is like initiative, who's going first, who's going last. And there we go, the Chaosium. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Jason points out Golden Heroes was a Games Workshop superhero RPG. I had heard of it, but I was going to say I was not familiar with who made it. I knew it was a superhero game. All right, so we've got our little read me first, which we took a peek at first. Now we'll put it in the bottom of the box. We've got some reference material here. We've got the maps. So they're both of the Rainbow Mounds. Oh, wait a second. So this is the Game Master's map. That's the player's map. We've got the Northern Sartar and Johnston map as well. We've got 14 pre-generated characters, as well as 2 blank character sheets. We've got Book 4, Adventures. Book 3, Soloquest. What do you think I'm going to be doing this weekend? You want to take a guess? Unless we're playing games, then it'd be a little different. Then we got the World of Glorantha in Book 2 and Book 1, The Rules, as well as our dice. If I could get the little plastic bag open. There you go. I like the golden color of these. I really do. You know what? Here, give you. I think this will show them off a little bit. Yeah, that's closer to the actual. That is the actual color. I was gonna say putting it against the gray looked a little off. So Omenal said they'd like to see the adventure map on the back of it on a different map. I agree. I thought the same thing. I thought, it's a little strange they would put the player map on the same map as the Game Master's map. It's like, how are you gonna? But then again, I would take a guess, maybe because we were skipping pages as well, that it's possible that that map is also reproduced in the adventure book as well. So Caesar says those don't seem like enough dice. Well, we already were talking about that. It's only got 1 6-sider. And it's missing the damage location dice. No, damage location is percentile dice. Ta-da! 26. Okay. So I'm not a fan of this kind of die. I know a lot of people are fine with it. I'm just, I come from, the old school where it's like, all right, so I got 2 different colored 10-sided dice. And the blue one is going to be my 10s. And the red one is my single digits. Because that way, if you were rolling crappy dice, you could say, I'm going to get rid of that one. All right, so the black 10-sider. Here, you're kind of like, if this die is cursed, you're stuck. All right, so that is the RuneQuest Starter Set from Chaosium Inc. Remember, this is hitting stores on November 10th. That's right. It is written by Greg Stafford, Jeff Richard, and Jason Durrell. It's going to carry an MSRP of $29.99. We can see this is just jam-packed with gaming content. Going to have to hold out and wait for my review. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, man, I'm getting it right now. I like RuneQuest. I think RuneQuest is a very, very cool setting. I would tweak things. Once again, as I said, when we were taking a peek through, some game masters are scared off by all that, background and history. Don't worry about it. Make the game your own. But as a game system, very, very good. Really well done. Like I said, I'm not going out. When I said earlier, I'm not going out on much of a limb that this is going to be packed with goodies. I don't think I'm going out on much of a limb predicting that I am going to definitely dig this quite a lot. Also, want to remind you, speaking of role-playing game reviews, if you missed my tweet, I know some people don't follow my Twitter. I will not have a review of the Twilight 2000 role-playing game from Free League Publishing until the 16th. It is embargoed. So I would have had the review out already. I've had people email me asking, hey, how come you haven't reviewed it? You did the unboxing on your show a long time ago. Not that long ago, but still. I'm like, it's under embargo. I'm not allowed to. If a company tells me I can't share a review until a certain date, I don't share the review until that certain date. Sorry, but stay tuned. You'll get you'll get the straight dope from me. You know that. All right. That is it for this time out. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me tonight. I know we probably had a few new people. Welcome aboard. Hopefully, you had some fun hanging out. I don't know. Hopefully you come back. Hopefully you subscribe. Anyway, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights, right here on YouTube. Also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of the new edition of Galaxy Trucker from Czech Games Edition. If you're curious what's on for the rest of the week, so tomorrow, something a little different. We're actually going to take a first look at the 2 Paizo adventure releases for this month. So we are going to take a peek at the 5th chapter in the Strength of Thousands adventure path, which is Doorway to the Red Star, which Sammy is reviewing. So Sammy's been reviewing this adventure path. And then we have Starfinder, Whispers of the Eclipse. Yes, it is Whispers of the Eclipse, because I'm reviewing this. And we'll take a quick peek. We'll just do a bit of a page through. We're not going to take a look at each and every page, but kind of give you an idea. Then on Wednesday, it's going to be War Game Wednesday. I know if John Vogel's still floating around, he's going to be happy because we're going to take a look at the North African expansion for Tank Duel from GMT Games. Really enjoyed Tank Duel. It is a really cool game. And then we're going to take a look at the Tank Pack #1. I think this is the Tank Pack. It's got this piece of paper here. So actually it says Tank Duel Tank Pack 1. Nice. So we're going to take a look at both of those on Wednesday. Those of you who hung out watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you taking some time out of your busy lives to keep me company while I just pontificate here on camera. But I know a lot of people out there, they watch the stream, but they don't get to watch it live. Maybe you're watching on Memorex. I definitely really appreciate that as well. Thank you to all of you out there who take some time out and check out the videos. Means a lot. It really does. Because if you didn't, I wouldn't do this. So let's be honest. All right. Everybody enjoy the rest of your night, morning, what have you. And of course, don't forget, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for hanging out. And of course, until I see you next time, here's hoping you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. See you tomorrow. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.